Oh, hello. And we're in John chapter 15, working our way through it rather slowly. And we're not going to speed up. We're going to do just verses 9 to 11. Reading from the ESV. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments, and abide in his love. These things I have spoken to you, that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be full, or complete, as some other translations have it. So, let's look at this first bit. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. And later on, after the resurrection, he says, I'm going to my Father and to your Father. And verses like this, a lot of the commentaries, they talk about the difference between Jesus and us, and between the relationship between the Father and Jesus and us. Which is all well and good. Obviously there's a difference. None of us, we're all created beings. None of us have created a universe recently. So obviously there is a difference. But that's not what Jesus is saying. Why has Jesus said this here and what he says elsewhere? What he's saying, and wanting the disciples and wanting you and me to learn, is how similar is the Father's love for the Son, how similar that is to his love for us. See, Jesus, he came primarily to die on the cross and rise again, to earn our salvation, win our salvation, earn our salvation, however you want to put it. But he also came to show us how to live. And the key thing about Jesus' life is it is relationship with God the Father. That is, we're to have the same relationship with him. So, however good our relationship with God might be at present, we should not be satisfied. We should not be complacent. It can be so much deeper. And it says, as the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now what does it mean? How did the Father love the Son? Well, first of all, the word love. Often, in general, we think of it either in romantic terms or in sentimental mush terms. And I'm not really into sentimental mush. It is not sentimental mush that we're talking about here. So how did the Father love the Son? Well, in many ways, but relevant to what it's in here. He gave the Son authority. He gave him such an important task, such an important role in fulfilling his plans, his purposes. And remember that all this has been said, all part of what Jesus is teaching his disciples prior to going to the cross, prior to the resurrection, prior to the ascension. And the disciples thought, it's all coming to an end. When Jesus is saying, quite the opposite, it's all just beginning. That we have been given an important task. We're given such a key role in God's plans, God's purposes. Also, these purposes of the purpose for the Son involved going to the cross. For us, it may involve suffering. It will never be quite the same as Jesus going to the cross. But suffering is part of following Jesus. And resurrection as well. And it says, abide in my love. We cannot be complacent. It looks like teaching here, we have to do something to stay in his love. It doesn't mean we earn salvation. But the things God expects us to do, Jesus expects us to do, he says, remain in my love. And how do we do that? By keeping his commandments. That's how we remain in the Father's love, in Jesus' love. It says, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. So when we don't know what to do, we obey Jesus. It says, these things I have spoken to you, so that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be full, or your joy may be complete. So what was Jesus' joy? Well, in Hebrews, I think it's 12, Jesus says, Jesus endured the scorn of the cross for the joy that was set before him. It was the joy of obeying the Father, doing what the Father wanted, and seeing his plans come to fruition. Seeing people set free, seeing people saved, seeing people know the love of God for them. That's what motivated Jesus. And if we want our joy to be complete rather than just an ephemeral thing, which can be so easily dissipated by events or bad news or whatever, we need to abide in his love, and abide in his love by obeying his commandments, doing what he tells us to do, and then our joy will be complete. Amen.